You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And we are winners. Aren't you supposed to do the winner song?
Which one's that?
I can't remember. Whenever we went 3 for 3, you were singing a song earlier.
Oh, I thought it was 0-3. I did Loser Baby.
That could be it.
I don't remember singing.
Weird year. We've probably had equal numbers of 0-3s and 3-0s.
It's a good time of year to get 3-0.
Yes, it is. Though I guess, the books say they had their worst day in modern history.
Well, yeah, because
so maybe we shouldn't feel like so big of geniuses.
No, everybody followed our lead.
Oh, okay.
Listened to our podcast and went and cleaned out Vegas.
Ah. Except the big action was Green Bay straight up.
Yes. Which we did Pittsburgh straight up.
Yeah,
So.
But that was
okay.
That was a hell of a weekend of football.
Yeah, outside of I didn't watch the Patriots game. I know it was close score-wise, but from what I've read and heard, it wasn't really in doubt. Like, Osweiler throwing 3 picks, against a non-top 10 defense. Like, this is the first time, and how long? There's 4 teams. There's not one. We've made our money betting on the Super Bowl on defense. We haven't a one that you can hang your hat on. If you want to look at who's playing the best right now defensively, Pittsburgh, would you say?
I still think over the bulk of the season, it's New England is the better defense.
See, I don't know.
Pittsburgh's playing well right now, but
I still go back to Seattle exposing them. And who have they played tough since?
Well, and who has Pittsburgh played, though?
Well, they beat Kansas City, at least. New England has a tough game since Seattle. If they beat, I'm saying, a good team that you would consider. They beat Pittsburgh without Roethlisberger.
And didn't take it all the way. I mean, we won money on that game, but let's just quickly recap our bets here. We had Atlanta -5, which, by the way, had moved to 6.5 by game day. We had them $10. They paid $19.09. Winner. We had Pittsburgh on the money line, which I'll talk about that in a bit. We had $10, paid $20.50. And then we teased Atlanta to +1 and Green Bay plus 10.5. We hit that for $18.33. Now, on the Seattle-Atlanta game, do you want to just go to the games here?
Yeah.
Okay. That first half was really good.
Yes.
I mean, you look at the score of this game, you do not realize that this game was much closer than that result.
Well, when Seattle marched down on their first drive and scored, I was like, oh, fuck, I talked you into Atlanta -5. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But then Atlanta went right back down and scored, so it kind of calmed my nerves a little. But
I think Seattle played a little tentatively. Based on being on the road, but they're a bad road team. That's eventually what swung you. Yep.
They're a bad road team. They don't handle the road well at all in the whole Russell Wilson tenure. They were 3-4-1 on the road this year. 7-1 at home. So, and they lost their composure. Did you see Michael Bennett trying to gouge the offensive lineman's eye out?
That was only the first time in the weekend I saw an attempted eye gouge.
Like, they're all saying they lost composure, and yeah, but when you're getting beat, when the bully's getting beat, that's what happens. And they still think of themselves as that team that went to back-to-back Super Bowls, and they're not the same team. They don't have the depth on defense.
Everyone talked about Cam Chancellor and how that made things work. Earl Thomas was the man.
Yeah.
Though Atlanta, like, by putting down Seattle, we're implying that Atlanta isn't good. Atlanta scored
good
against every fucking defense they've faced.
Yeah.
And they've faced some good ones at home, on the road. Ryan's moving up in the pocket and not panicking. We've never seen that before. I mean, that might have been part of the reason I was leaning towards Seattle in the points, was Ryan had crumbled in the playoffs like Dalton.
But he never had an offense like this.
No. And he's never... He's now separated himself from Dalton. Coming into this year... Oh, no. Yeah, that running game, the two-headed running game is...
Well, it changes an offense. He's not under pressure every fucking throw.
Well, on that two-headed running game, everyone thinks, okay, Freeman, performed better because Coleman was out of the lineup. Freeman actually got 20 yards more a game when Coleman was playing throughout the season, which I find an interesting stat, which shows what a two-headed running attack can do. I love seeing that. But yeah, Atlanta put it away. The Seattle defense tried to do their bully tactics, as you said, and just couldn't.
Well, no, when you can't scheme, only have to defend one part of the offense, it's tough. It's very hard. The Kansas City, same example, even though Pittsburgh didn't score touchdowns. When you don't know what they're going to do from play to play, and you have explosive athletes at both positions, at wideout and running game, it's fucking hard on a defense. And I told you before we started, I have no idea which way I was leaning on these games. I still don't. Coming up.
Well, and a big factor in that is Julio. The 2 weeks at the start, he looked amazing. He seems to have aggravated his foot injury again. And that bothers me because I think he's, if healthy, the best receiver in football. But as we agreed on an earlier podcast, feet matter.
Yeah.
So that's a worry for Atlanta. The New England game... Is
Which
Houston's
I didn't see
defense
it down
that good?
Well, I'll go back to Tennessee beating them with her backup quarterback.
Which
and
brings
they didn't
up
sit
serious
anybody.
Questions about...
They didn't sit anybody. See, I'm more worried about the Patriots' defense than I am the offense.
I think their defense is okay. Those points they gave up were on short fields on turnovers.
No, I'm talking about coming forward with what Bell and Brown can do.
They held Miller to
Osweiler.
73 yards, but I mean, not Osweiler. Well, though maybe Osweiler. Like this game, I thought, all right, looks like the 16 isn't going to go, and then Osweiler decided to allow them to cover. New England shouldn't have covered that game based on the quality that they played. There's no way they should have covered that. Houston was a far better team on defense, and New England wasn't blistering on offense. Dion Lewis is interesting, but I don't know. They shouldn't have covered the 16. I was a little shocked when they did. Though I admit I skipped much of the fourth quarter, or at least had it on fast forward.
Yeah, and I didn't see any of it. Date night.
But let's talk about the good games.
Yeah, Sunday was...
Though those had
Sunday was
moments,
phenomenal
right?
day
They
of
were
football.
interesting
Yeah.
football games by, at some level, competent football teams. If the Texans tried to turf O'Brien, I still think he's a good coach. And he said he'd never even met Osweiler when they signed him, which is a terrible disconnect. There had to be someone better. I would have rather they had hired Fitzpatrick than Osweiler.
No. You saw what Fitzpatrick did this year? He suckered teams in before. He suckered the Bills in. He suckered the Jets in. Why would you take it? He's done it twice. Had one good year and then went back to shit. That's poor choice on your part.
Yeah.
I lived through a Ryan Fitzpatrick year. Remember?
Yeah.
I have
He
first-hand
did all right
experience.
till it mattered and then collapsed. But how is that worse than Osweiler, who... Did I bring this up on the podcast that everyone talks about Elway being a genius and letting him go? He offered $2 million a year less than Houston did. So, it wasn't only Houston that was suckered by Osweiler.
No. And Elway hired, that was who had the shitty defense that they said was in position for a head coaching job or interviewing. Was that Vance Joseph? Or is that the guy the Chargers hired?
No,
that
we
was
hired Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, Vance Joseph, and that wasn't racist. They don't all look alike.
Keep telling yourself. Keep telling the listeners.
No, Vance Joseph was the one they put up the stat that the Dolphins defense was like 20th, 18th, 20th in the league. They got a head coaching job. Didn't it used to be like hot coordinators were? And it's not like the Dolphins got their wins against juggernaut teams this year on their winning streak to get in the playoffs. So good luck to him.
Yeah.
He won't last more than 2 years in Denver.
Well, yeah, and Wade Phillips is wandering.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Why-
official. I don't know it's been announced, but
Yeah, he's interviewing for jobs.
okay.
So, which makes no sense whatsoever.
He shouldn't be a head coach.
No.
God damn it, I hated when Dallas stole him as a head coach from the Chargers.
But when you hire a defensive coordinator as your head coach, do you think he's keeping the defensive coordinator there?
No,
That's
especially
mad, yeah.
one with the Hall of Fame resume like Wade Phillips
Yeah.
has as a DC. Okay, Pittsburgh, Kansas City. First thing I want to say about this was it was late in the third, early in the fourth, and they put up a graphic for yards, passing, rushing, everything. It was so screamingly dominant by Pittsburgh. I just looked at Shelley and I said, why the fuck am I sweating my bet?
Yeah. Because they couldn't convert in the red zone or anywhere.
And in the red zone, when they got within the 10,
Just give
this
it to
fits
Bell.
your... Yes, this fits your theory of sucking up to the quarterback.
And we haven't seen any, like, Antonio Brown being a diva or like Beckham screaming when he's not getting the ball and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So just give it to, like, they gave it to Bell the one time inside the 10, and he got down to, like, the 2, and then they threw it. That's like, they didn't stop him the whole game.
I was thinking of your kiss the ass of the quarterback theory. All the time. And I actually went, because Big Ben wants his playoff touchdowns. Like, it was ridiculous to me that they abandoned what they did. And I couldn't see that the fronts were so stacked that you would even audible to a pass call there. It looked like the base defense is down there.
Well, just spread them out. If you're running the ball that well, just spread them out. 4 wide, a tight end, running back, and go.
I could not believe how close we got to losing this bet based on the absolute dominance of Pittsburgh. And Roethlisberger, by the way, was mediocre as generous. He was not good in this game. He was missing targets. He was Roethlisberger on the road this year.
But in games like that, though, the problem is they went somewhat conservative for whatever reason. Like, it was always dump it underneath to a tight end.
Yeah, Jesse James had a good game.
Yeah, but it was like, okay, he was open. But Bell should have carried it 40 times.
No, I never support that. Well,
yeah, in the playoffs? Okay, no, I'll save him.
I just never support it. You want him sort of fresh, and you have the game in hand. You're walking up and down the field at will. But I say you give him some carries inside the 10.
Well, yeah, but that would have brought him up to 30, 35 if they did that for the amount of times they were in the red zone.
So, I think he got 30 carries.
27, I believe.
Okay.
For 170 or something like that. 40. You're 2 games from the Super Bowl. 40. Limit them in the fucking regular season when you're up 21 in the third quarter.
Now, I will also say that KC more or less shut him down in the second half. His little stutter step delay stopped working.
I'd like to know what the split was in carries, too.
First to second half?
Yeah. Because if you get 20 in the first half and 7 in the second, different story.
Yeah.
Marlon, I'm not advocating for 40 a game in the regular season for 16 games. But in a game like that, when you can't score, and they showed no way of stopping him, just keep running the ball. Just blow them off the ball. And we'll get to the Green Bay game, but you saw what it did in the fourth quarter. And I didn't think Dallas used Zeke enough either.
I agree with that more than this. But I think Roethlisberger was incredibly mediocre.
Total. Well,
that was the point I started with.
No, I know. But if you know that as a coach, they know Roethlisberger splits home and the road.
It's a small sample size, right? So I'm not going to hang my hat on that. But this year it's been
all
true.
Year. Yes. So if I'm a coach, I know that. And Bell rushed for over 100 yards in the first quarter, or the first half. Just keep feeding them. And then take your shot.
They did a certain bet, but they started to get him at about 2 yards. And I don't know what they did. Whether it was just the linebackers never tried to penetrate on the middle, begged Roethlisberger to throw, waited for him to choose his gap, and then just met him in the gap. I don't know exactly what they did, but I do know New England knows exactly what they did to change that. I think his yards per carry were like 9 in the first half. Can you look up that split? You brought up an interesting point here.
Oh, where am I finding that split?
I would just type in Google Le'Veon Bell second half carries versus KC. And I'll talk about something else here if you're going to look around for that.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, and I'm taking this a bit from Barnwell. What we saw in the final drive by KC was almost identical to what we saw when KC played New England last year. The odds of you getting a touchdown and the 2-point conversion are poor. But they still took 6 minutes on that drive.
Yep.
almost every one of their plays came off with less than 10 seconds on the play clock. Why is Andy Reid not capable of a sense of urgency?
Well, you saw it in the Super Bowl with Philly against the Patriots.
Yeah. Like,
when McNabb ran that offense.
If you're counting on the 2-point tie to take you to overtime when you're getting the ball with over 7 minutes, there's a fundamental flaw. And Reid was shouting at one of his coaches when they didn't go for the onside kick after that. What the hell was that decision? You're giving one team that you've had difficulty stopping between the 20s the chance to win the game with a single first down.
Yeah.
And if Pittsburgh really wanted to, they could have run it 3 times, burned the clock, and left you 40 seconds following a punt.
Yeah, but they would have been punting from their own.
That's a lot to put on Tyreek Hill, who's intriguing, but I think overhyped.
Oh, no, but they would only
stage.
need to complete a pass.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, why even kick it to them in this situation? If you're going to use 7 minutes to not tie the game, you're putting all of it on a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and that's just foolish. I don't think it, and as you brought up, Philly, the same thing. It's not Alex Smith. People seem to want to blame Smith.
I can't find his splits. It's not worth it. But okay. If you here's where that kicking it, because you have to get a stop, right? Doesn't matter where you kick it to. Here's where I'll side with Kansas City kicking it deep, because you know you're going to have to burn your timeout and the 2-minute warning. There, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you kick it deep and they don't get a first down and you have no timeouts, you at least have a shot. If you onside kick, don't recover it, even if you stop them, you're getting the ball hopefully at your 20 with 40 seconds left.
You've got one of the most dangerous kick returners in the league.
But they'll kick it through the end zone. Why would you give them a chance to return it if you're kicking from their 45?
You can try. Unless you can kick it 60 yards to the air, Tyreek Hill still gets it in his hands.
No, I know.
Which seems to have been Andy Reid's philosophy there.
No, my thinking is that just field position-wise, if you get a stop, you don't want them kicking it from midfield. You're giving up 30 yards of field position potentially.
I question why you think you can get a stop. Pittsburgh has moved the ball between the 20s at will.
Hey, Tennessee did it against Kansas City. Won that way.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, and I think the problem really is earlier in that.
Well, the 4th and 2 timeout was stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at that point in the game, how much time's left on the clock? You know you're going to need your timeouts if something goes fucking haywire.
Yep.
So, save a timeout, and then kicking deep we're not talking about it as it's not as big a deal. But
yeah,
an
onside kick is maybe a 10% chance of success. But when you've blown 5 or 6 minutes on a drive where you needed the 2-point, like, you have to get the touchdown first of all, which is not easy in this league. It drives me nuts when announcers are going, "Oh, he should have gone down at the 1, and then they could have gotten the touchdown," like in that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
It's like, how many goal line stands did you see this year? Getting a touchdown is not a fucking given. But you need the touchdown, and then you need the 2, which is a 50-50 proposition at best.
Well, exactly, and they should have been in a hurry-up offense that whole drive.
Yeah, that was the repeatable mistake we've seen from Andy Reid. How many times? And it's not Alex Smith. I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback or anything, but he did the same thing as you brought up in the Super Bowl versus New England.
And is it play calling? Can they not get plays in? Do they not call 2 at once? Like, okay, when they finally got to that point, yes, should they have called a timeout 4th and 2? Well, probably, because if you don't get that, you've run the clock down so low. If you don't convert there, you're still fucked.
Yeah,
then it's 2 first downs and you're done.
Prior to that,
right? You're already fucked. So taking the timeout there isn't a killer. Because you have to get. That was a great play they called to get the first down. By the way.
Oh yeah,
And for whatever Andy Reid wants to say or Kelsey wants to say, it was fucking holding. That's called holding every fucking time in the league. Every fucking time.
That pissed me off more than anything. And by the way, thanks for helping your team out with that blast on the cornerback.
Yeah, that was...
Like, you want to be considered Gronk? You know what Gronk does if a guy's pissing him off? He waits until he's a blocking tight end on a play, and he destroys that cocksucker.
Or he makes the catches down the middle of the field wide open.
Well, no, we saw him when he threw that one guy out of the bar, the famous quote.
Yeah.
That guy was pissing him off. So when he was a pure blocking tight end, he really took that duty to heart. That's what you do. Kelsey he's a fucking meathead.
No, but if you're going to be considered great, you get open in big games. He had one chance to make a big impact on that game, and he fucking dropped it.
Yeah, and I believe the blast was shortly after when he couldn't control his own frustration with himself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how much we had to sweat that game based on the dominance. I enjoyed that game a lot, though.
Yes.
And now we go to the best game I've seen all year.
Yeah. It was my thought exactly after it was done.
Usually when you see a team get up like Green Bay did, then it's like one team's competent for a half, one team's competent for the other half. This one was such an ebb and flow game of adjustments, tiny details, everything. Like, it didn't have that flip of the coin side. You know what I mean? Where one team dominated for a half, the other team dominated for another half. This was subtle adjustments. This was great play by fuck near everyone. This was a fantastic fucking football game.
Yeah. And to me, the biggest play in the game, they talk about the pass interference, and I'll get to that, called against Dallas on a pick. What was that fucking wide receiver screen that got picked by Green Bay?
Yeah, where he absolutely jumped the route.
Because if Dallas scores there, it's a totally different outcome at the end of that game. Because they were inside the 20 when that was picked. Biggest play of the game by the Green Bay defense.
Yep.
And I mentioned it earlier we were talking about Bell. I didn't think they should have ran him another 10 times, but what I thought Dallas would do was just keep Rodgers off the field. Well, when you don't do that your first couple of drives, then you're forced to do what they did.
Yep.
Throw the fucking ball. You play right into Green Bay's hands by not running it right from the start.
And we've discussed this so many times. Coaches think, they won't be expecting that. Fucking play to your strengths. Let the players decide. It was 100% what I thought. Why Dallas didn't come out take that big O-line and just hammer it down against a smaller defensive line, back off the pass rush. What would have been ideal for Dallas was just, 3 runs, first down. Ezekiel behind that O-line would have gotten 10 yards many times. I don't care if they're stacking the box. Did you see how it looked like he would be down and there would be 2 more yards after every carry? He's a fuck of a back. And that wasn't O-line.
No,
Even
that's
when
after
they were stacking the box, he was taking 2 extra fucking yards.
Well, and he could get outside, and Green Bay had no answer.
Yeah, I mean, you switch it up with the perimeter. Why their first 12 plays weren't rushes, I have no idea. And this gets to...
That whole first drive.
You say kiss the ass of the quarterback. I say coaches think this game is played on a computer sometimes. That no one will expect it. They like to try to think this out.
They buy into all the shit you hear in the media, too. Oh, Green Bay's secondary's decimated. Oh, we'll throw on them.
Fuck that.
Which is
Play
fine.
to your own strengths.
No, but which is fine in certain situations. Like when Bryant is singled up with that fucking Turner or whoever that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, take a shot. But when you see not single coverage on Dez, if they happen to stop him on the first 2 runs from Elliott, then throw your 8-yard cross to Beasley.
Yeah, or just send Dez Bryant in the middle, throw it high, and let him as a beast muscle it down. That was the Dez Bryant I bought last year in fantasy.
We might have finally been fully healthy now.
Yeah, in any case, that's...
I just think he was underutilized. The game got away from Dallas.
Get away from them instantly.
Well, no team... it was amazing Dallas came back to tie it.
Yes.
And that is a function of Green Bay's defense.
Yes.
So, that they could come back after all the mistakes and coaching mistakes I think they made is a testament to how much talent they have on offense. That they could do that. And if Green Bay had a running game, Dallas would have never got back because they would have run the ball. I'd be interesting to see what Dallas would have done had they got up 21-3. Would they have run Elliott or would they have kept fucking chucking it all over the yard? At 14-3, that next drive, it would have been Elliott 10 times.
Yes, but Dallas has been all year take a lead and hold it with Elliott. I said before the game, Dallas's best defense, because their defense is terrible. They're not significantly better than Green Bay's defense.
No, but they only gave up 13 points in the second half. That's not bad against Rodgers.
No, but that's also because Ezekiel Elliott was taking 7 yards a clip. And they were grinding out the clock. Yards isn't the best metric.
No, I know.
And sometimes it is. But with a team like Dallas, it's time. That's what matters most to a team with a poor to middling defense and a great O-line and then running back. Time is your defense.
Did Atlanta learn anything? Because they've got 2.
That's a big question, isn't it?
They've got 2. They could run 20 times each.
Yep.
So, but
you wanted to talk about that PI call.
Okay, everybody's bitching. In my opinion,
it was illegal contact.
It was holding. 5 yards, automatic first down. Because Rodgers hadn't thrown the ball yet.
I call it illegal contact, but same argument.
Because when they showed the end zone shot, when he hooked him, Rogers hadn't released the ball yet.
I said that, like, live, watching with Shelley, when the ball wasn't in the fucking air.
No.
There's no way. That should be 5 yards, first down. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because it certainly was a penalty.
Yes.
I have no...
And the uncatchable ball argument doesn't work with holding.
The uncatchable ball argument
It's
is
only
never implemented.
Not when it's intercepted. On the sidelines, in the back of the end zone, it is. On something like that, or they overthrow them on a deep ball by 10 yards.
I would like to see that called more often.
No, it is rare, but it's never in play on a ball that's intercepted. If there's a foul,
if it's in the field of play,
it's a foul and it's going to be called.
Yeah.
So, no problem with that. No problem with the call, or them making a call, because there was a foul.
Yeah.
But it wasn't pass interference and spotted at the 35.
No, and I just, again, I hate to refer to our old podcasts, but for fuck's sake, NFL, look at this spot foul on PI. It's absurd.
Yeah, it should. I prefer college rule, 15 yards.
We've hammered this point before. It's too game changing, and it feeds into just the balm the ball up and see if there's contact. Because guys are getting PIs when, honestly, they have no right to even think a ball is coming down in their area. And a guy suddenly comes back through them, and they push.
Yeah.
And suddenly that's a 40-yard penalty. What other penalty? You could pull out a knife and cut the head off a quarterback, and that's 15 yards.
Well, here's another thing I thought of in that game. When they keep giving Aaron Rodgers credit for catching teams with 12 men on the field, what other sport do you get penalized for making a substitution? And you're not allowed to make one. There's not another fucking sport alive that you can't. Maybe they put a time limit on it.
Maybe you put a
seconds.
10-second neutral where the offense has to bring out their personnel.
Yeah.
And then the defense has 10 seconds to bring out their personnel.
Well, look what they do in hockey.
I've been trying to think of a way to deal with this, because this occurred
it's
to
bullshit.
me as well.
It's bullshit.
I know.
Why can't I get the guys I want on the field? Why is everything geared to the offense? The offense can take their sweet fucking time bringing guys out.
Though, and by
Make
the way,
it
it was
hockey.
a legitimate penalty on that unsportsmanlike, because it was designed so you can't trot out. Like, that rule, it's been rare, but you can't put 22 guys in the huddle.
No, I know. But
and then have 11 run off. And that was the correct call, by the way, on that.
He never even made it to the huddle.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the film on that.
No, but they were standing all separated. He ran out, and another guy ran up to him and said, "Get out of here." It wasn't like he was in the huddle, and then some guy tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Get lost."
Okay,
I
changed my opinion because I hadn't seen the footage. But if he joined the huddle as a 12th guy, I was saying, okay, because Shelley didn't understand it, and I was going, okay, here's what that rule is designed to stop.
And that's not what Dallas was doing in that instance.
Okay.
I know by the rule.
Your word on it.
I know by the rule that's what they have to call. But Dallas, it wasn't a malicious intent thing where it was like, okay, we're going to run a guy out here late. It was nothing to do with that. They hadn't even huddled up yet. So, but I get the call. But going back to my original point, what they could do is, here's what happens in hockey. It has final substitution. And you may have to tweak it in football to offense and defense. But the home team has final change. So the visiting team has so long to make a change, and then the ref will just hold up his hand, say, you're done, and now you can make your change. So if you want matchups or whatever, which is what they're doing in football, they're trying to get a matchup so they can defend what Green Bay's going to do on a third down or a second down or whatever.
Yeah.
How can that be a strategy that I can... I've seen refs take 10 seconds in the last minute of a game to spot the ball. But when Rodgers wants to fucking run a hurry-up, when Rodgers wants to run a hurry-up to catch somebody with 12 guys on the field, it seems to be sitting right there for him. So... You cannot penalize a team for substitutions. It makes no fucking sense. When we won money on this game, and it pissed me off.
No, I agree with you because it felt...
It's cheating.
It felt stinky, you know? Every time I see that, I think it's... And they adjusted the whole rules for Peyton Manning to allow the movement on the O-line when he was calling all the plays. They adjusted those rules for motion, that those guys could bob up like fucking whack-a-mole. You're right. That's something they've got to address, but again, that shows him as a genius.
Oh, yeah, he recognizes the substitution. They're not going to let him get away with that. It's like... What do you mean? Let him get away with it. There's no other basketball timeout. Whistle blows on a foul. Okay, you can substitute in.
Yeah, and
baseball,
on those plays, did Green Bay sub? Bet you they did.
Yeah. But why does that have to be a strategy of... And you could limit it, okay, in a final 2 minutes when you're like the hurry-up offense. There's no, then you're on your own if you want to try and substitute. Because nobody tries and substitutes then.
No.
Right? But when you're in the 12 minutes left in the game, I can't take one D lineman out and bring another one in?
Even though the play clock is there and it shows me in the balls. Yeah, I mean, where the ball is spotted has to be set. I'm not certain of the best solution, but I agree this has to be addressed.
Because it sucks.
But that was a great game. And Regina Boy banged 2 over 50.
I still don't know how that last one made it in.
I thought it was the first one, Maury.
No, that yeah, but it went the other way. He sliced that one. Because he's a right-footed kicker. Yeah. That one started left and went right. The last one started outside. It was a football outside the goalpost at about... and somehow went back the other way. Which I have no idea how that happened. If you watch it again, inside the post, and then swings back to the right.
I thought he missed it. When he kicked it and I was seeing the path of the ball, I said he missed it. I
thought he missed it too because it was going left and then it veered right about halfway there. I'm like, when they start left on a right-footed kicker, they don't usually slice back to the right. When you kind of give it that little, looks like a hook, you're fucked. But
Sheldon Williams alumni. That's where Mitch went to school.
I want to bring up one other thing not from this game. I just thought of this. We talked about the concussion protocol with Matt Moore last week. That receiver from Kansas City was knocked out more than Matt Moore. Missed one play. But my problem with that play was, where in the fuck is a DB supposed to hit him when he dives? Where is he supposed to hit him?
There's that. I thought that was targeting. He dropped the crown of his helmet.
No, he hit him with his shoulder.
That's the other thing I want to bring up. Pittsburgh is so goddamn dirty.
He hit him with his shoulder.
No, he hits him with the crown of his helmet.
No, he didn't. He hit him with his shoulder.
But in any case, Pittsburgh is the dirtiest fucking team on the planet. And I believe it was Shazier, too, and I said I would mention this. He comes in at Alex Smith. It's behind the play, so you don't see it, and then they're just going roughing the quarterback, hands to the helmet, which I'm used to the Peyton Brady rule where if you tap him on the top of his head, that was a flag for a couple of years there.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Shazier put both fingers through intentionally on the eye guard and tried to poke Smith's eyes. Like, I'm looking at him going, he is trying to poke his fucking eyes because he has his palm on the bottom of it, and then he curls his fingers and jabs his hand through the gap in the mask. Pittsburgh are dirty cocksuckers.
But I still think that I don't know where you're supposed to hit him. If you just, when a guy lays out like that, you're just supposed to let him catch it now? Like,
well,
I don't know where you're supposed to hit him.
Yeah.
Well, my job is to jar the ball loose. And I'm running over to cover it on the safety.
I saw one of that from the back of the end zone where I thought it was questionable because I don't like the defenseless receiver rule in general. And then we were watching it and we looked and I'm going, no, he dropped his head. He's coming in. He sees where the guy is. He drops the crown of his head.
Though. He didn't hit him with his head.
Yeah, but he still tried to spear him.
When you hit him, it's supposed to be contact. Well, then, by that rule, then they should have fucking thrown out, who the fuck hit Jordy Nelson the week before? With the crown of the helmet.
A lot of people have said, yeah, that should have been. The shot to the ribs.
But at some point, there's football being played.
I agree, and I think you do a dangerous job, you take your chances.
Well, when a receiver lays out like that and I'm a safety coming over, where am I supposed to try and jar the ball loose? Just let him catch it for a touchdown? But he was out there to play later. Missed one play.
The concussion protocol is PR. That's all it is.
Yeah.
We both know that.
So, okay, let's get on to... I just wanted to bring that up.
That said, is it that time?
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time. 2 games this week. First game up. We have Green Bay +5 at Atlanta. I cannot... My argument from last week stands.
I know, I'm on Green Bay here too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to win. This is a field goal game. It's going to come down like the Dallas game. All 4 teams are outside the top 10 in DVOA for the year. First time in like 20 years or some fucking thing.
I thought New England had crawled in at 7 or something on defensive DVOA, but okay.
No. So it's going to be, the over-under is 60.5.
And it opened at 61.5, the highest total in NFL history. History.
No, I know. If Atlanta's smart, each running back gets 20 carries. But they won't be. This is going to be whoever has the ball last probably wins by a field goal.
I sort of agree, but I don't think they're going to kiss Ryan's ass. This is being a very selfless sort of team. Ryan has not had a problem. Julio has not had a problem. No one on this team seems to be concerned about their individual stats.
Well,
Ryan's are fantastic, but... Well, and I don't think Atlanta's defense can contain them at all.
Well, I don't know if Green Bay's can contain Atlanta. We get to 80 points in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating we bet the over.
No,
thank you very much.
We know your opinion on totals, Boyd.
But no, I'm on Green Bay. Just because
5's
is too much.
I do not see why Atlanta is 5. This game should be 3 at the most, and because Aaron Rodgers has been ridiculous, and we didn't even talk about how Jared Cook was everything we always said he was. Capable of brilliance and capable of meathead.
Yeah.
It was in that Green Bay game. But that last catch and throw
That was
by
what a
Aaron
wide receiver
Rodgers.
does.
Pardon?
But that's what a wide receiver eat.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
a 260-pound tight end.
Oh, it was amazing. And we thought he would do that in Tennessee. And then he went to L.A. And he made a couple of drops and made a couple of... I swear to God, on one play, he ran the wrong route. Entirely. Here's Jared Cook for you. That was his entire career in one game, you know?
And he's had games like that before, like big games in certain spots, but never anything consistent. He was the first Gronk. Was supposed to be. But
I don't
just
think he
never
had the
panned out.
physicality, but he had all that talent. We raved about it for a long time, what he was capable of, and nothing. And, by the way, look back at most of this season. Nothing.
Well, he was hurt for like 6 or 7 games, though.
But, in any case, 5 is too much to give to Aaron Rodgers. I want Green Bay plus 5.
You know my theory on championship teams? There's a story behind every championship, right? Whether it's 2 coaches that used to coach together facing off against each other, whatever it may be. The Cubs, 108 years. Every championship run has a story. And what's the best story in the playoffs right now? Green Bay hasn't lost since Rodgers said we got to run the table. That's the story.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away, but I think they're going to run the fucking table.
So you even like them outright, eh?
Yeah. I think they're going to run the fucking table.
Oh, and we should bring up, we had Atlanta to win the NFC, and we cashed that out for a profit. On a great call by you.
$5 paid us $13.50 out of a possible $22.50, I believe.
Yeah.
So we cashed that out for $8.50 profit.
We still have Atlanta v. New England in our Super Bowl matchup that we made at the start of the playoffs. But
yeah, I'm taking Green Bay. Rodgers is the best quarterback on the planet right now. So why wouldn't we bet him?
Yeah, and do you know what the difference there is? Is that we talked in the middle of the season, and I screamed that what he was doing was waiting for the big play. Do you know the difference in this winning streak is? Ball's out of his hand in the standard 2 to 2.5 seconds.
Oh, well, no, but...
Most of the time. When he has to hold it, it's great. Yeah. But he doesn't hold it every play.
No. But when he breaks contain, and I can't see Atlanta holding him in the pocket. Nobody has for 2 months.
They've got Vic Beasley, but you cannot have one pass rusher against him. You need to put him in a goddamn cage. That's how you contain him. You get 2 guys penetrating past, cutting off his left and right lanes and rear lanes, and you've got 2 guys pressuring from the front. That's the only way you sack that motherfucker.
Yeah. So...
Okay, let's book that.
Okay. So we're taking Green Bay plus 5 at Atlanta. $10 pays $19.09.
Okay, we're
a
still getting
semi-hedge. A semi-hedge.
Yeah.
Because we still have Atlanta in the other one. So we're covered both ways.
We only need to make $1.50 off our start of the playoff bets to make a profit there. Or to break even.
Yeah.
Okay. Atlanta, by the way, I'm not counting them out.
No.
If they can run those backs, I think the key player in this game is Gabriel. I don't like Sanu as a number 2 receiver. I think it's Gabriel who can exploit that secondary. And if we
It might
lose
even
that
be-
bet, it's going to be 3 balls to Gabriel for huge yards against that decimated Green Bay second.
But I still don't think they can stop Rodgers. Like, there's every receiver is open or a threat. It seems, but every time he snaps the ball, even the running back coming out of the backfield.
Oh, he's his second best receiver right now.
Yeah, but just how do they stop the tight end? Atlanta doesn't have a tight end.
They've been using a few, but Atlanta, it's the running game, and their best defense is what we described that Dallas should have done. Your defender is the clock.
The coin flip could
Atlanta
be the biggest deciding
doesn't want
factor
to
in that
score
game.
fast.
The coin flip.
It's a CFL game. We're about to watch a CFL game.
If Green Bay somehow defers and gets the kickoff to start, that could be enough.
Yeah.
Second half. But
it'll be points aplenty, but I like both of these teams.
It's going to be a field goal game.
And it was the first time.
Yeah, 33-32. So, shootout there, shootout again. We're past the days of, okay, it's the AFC Championship game, we're going to run it twice and throw on third down. They're going to be chucking it all over the Georgia Dome.
But I think if Atlanta wants to win this, they run the ball at Green Bay repeatedly.
Yes.
Perimeter runs at Green Bay repeatedly. Whether it's Coleman or Freeman, I don't give a rat's ass. Just keep running it at them.
But they won't.
Yeah.
No team. The only team committed to that this year was Tennessee.
No, but that's what Atlanta did versus Denver. They are willing to adjust.
Well, I hope so.
By the way, if Shanahan takes that head coaching job in San Francisco, he's a fucking dumbass rat face.
Yeah, but you know what they have? You know what you have to get to that level of coaching? A healthy ego,
supreme confidence in your own abilities. But let's see how you do with.
No, but Marlon, here's the difference between Atlanta looking at Denver. They're not scared of Green Bay's secondary. That's the fuck up. They don't have to game plan against Aqib Talib and fucking pass rush and everything.
No, you're probably right, but I think it's foolish. Your best
defender
do too. Is the clock.
Marlon, I totally agree. Ezekiel Elliott should have had 40 carries in that game.
Yep, and they definitely should have started with him. We've made this bet where I've said before that, the Giants have great running backs. It was Eli. And we bet on the Giants they should just run the ball repeatedly. They came out with 8 straight passes. You know? And this is why I can't stand coaches who seem to think it's played on a spreadsheet. That drives me as nuts as you're kissing the quarterback's ass.
Well, we haven't factored in when these teams get hot and have good years. The offensive coordinators are trying to advance their careers too.
Oh yeah, no, and that's fair enough. But if Shanahan moves to
I'm saying that as a bad thing.
An idiot.
I'm saying that as a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are just coordinators.
Terms. No, they want to win on their terms and try and get a job. So
that's a good point. Okay, the next game up is Pittsburgh plus 5.5 at New England. I like New England here, man.
Yeah, I do
Roethlisberger,
too. Bell scares the fuck out of me.
I'm frightened by that, but okay, on DVOA, New England did have number 7 DVOA, but I don't think their schedule adjustments really apply. I don't think they've quite tuned that on Football Outsiders. Because New England, New England has been on a cakewalk all year. It's just mind-blowing how easy their schedule has turned out to be.
See, the only thing that scares me about this Steelers game is the way Seattle roasted them. We're using precise with the screens and the running and then opening up passing. I know Roethlisberger hasn't been great, and I know it's hard to pick against New England.
He looked very average, man.
No, I know.
He was missing targets all over the place.
But if there's one team that will control the clock, and let's not forget, I believe Pittsburgh's the only team left with any semblance of a pass rush. Now, can Dion Lewis fuck up Pittsburgh? Yes. Edelman had 8 for 137 against the Texans, who were the best defense in football, to old metrics. So I can't take Pittsburgh here, but it scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it either. The one thing, and we differ on this, is I think KC took Le'Veon Bell out of the second half more than you do. You don't think they used him enough?
I don't.
I think KC managed to find a way to clog him.
He should have had 10 more touches.
Okay,
just even for
like we differ on this. We couldn't find the
but even
splits.
For Marlon, even for clock eating purposes. No, he ended up with 30 carries. So if he went 20 and 10 or 17 and 13, I still think he should have had 10 more carries, just even for eating the clock purposes.
Yeah,
because you weren't scoring.
But Casey did stop him.
I'm not denying
that. He was not getting
that.
chunk runs. He was not doing his little hesitation step, which, by the way, I love it too, by the way, but do you think you're going to see that anymore? I don't think we see it next year.
Oh, yeah.
I think any team playing Pittsburgh starts to keep a linebacker home because they're all coming in and they're getting blocked out.
Oh, that's good, because then Antonio Brown will have 300 yards receiving.
Yeah, that's...
But Bell, just for eating the clock, should have had 10 more carries. I don't care if he gets a yard and a half.
I think New England will find a way to limit him to 110 yards.
That's been their Achilles heel the last couple of years.
Is the rush?
The running game.
But they actually have a secretly good rush defense, but it's so hard to gauge because they've played such a gang of incompetence.
The best running back they faced was Numbnuts in Buffalo. The fuck's his name?
McCoy?
Yeah, that's the best back they faced all year.
Yeah.
They got Bell without Roethlisberger, so there was no threat of the passing game.
Yeah.
So
you're right about the pass rush. If they can get the pass rush, and it hurts me to say it, I mean, I'd rather lose this bet and see New England roast in the fires of eternal hell. But I have to take New England here. 5.5 is too much. But
I do too. I'm just pointing out the things that give me pause.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm not wildly confident on either of these games.
I'm actually more confident in the Green Bay game.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like, you even don't mind them outright. But I'm not going that far because Atlanta's offense really is a thing of beauty. I hope Matt Ryan gets the MVP because he kind of deserves it.
No, he'll get it. Who else they giving it to?
Rodgers, if he makes this run.
No.
They love the people they know.
No, I know. But that's
But Ryan made a couple of moves, just step up in the pocket, laser beam to a guy in the middle. I think Ryan really deserves it this year.
Yeah, he was the best player for the whole year.
Yeah.
If Brady played the whole season, it'd be his. He had 2 picks in 12 games.
Yeah, 2 picks last week.
Yeah, I know, but in the regular season, you played
Nevertheless,
12
two
games,
picks,
had 2
yeah.
picks.
Yeah. So
That's
cupcake
absurd.
schedule. Cupcake schedule.
No, I know. Well, the NFC South wasn't much better this year. Let's be real.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
So,
all right, but let's make that New England bet.
Okay. So we're paying a little more vague on that one. We got the Patriots minus 5.5 at home. $10 pays $18.69. And now our tease bet. I guess you know where we're going with that.
Yeah, unless we want Pittsburgh plus 11.5.
Nope.
No.
I'd rather take New England a fucking plus half a point.
This disturbs me because these are the bets I wanted before we started the podcast.
What?
I'd like you to argue me off a point.
Why? We got one underdog and one
I
fucking
know.
favorite.
I know. It's just
and the only one I could
the
argue
best when we dispute and make a logical argument, but I can't find an argument here.
No, I know.
Not with
but
Roethlisberger playing like he
is. No, that's what takes me off my more strong argument of taking Pittsburgh. We even talked about it last week. Roethlisberger scared us, his play.
Yeah.
And they scored no touchdowns. So Bell scares me, but if they can't score in the red zone, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's been mediocre on the road all year. They lost to Miami, shitty in Baltimore. Cleveland, they were shitty. So, no. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
So we're doing...
tease.
So we've got Green Bay at plus 11 and the Patriots at plus half a point.
So with no ties, we've got New England straight up on the tease.
Basically.
Really.
Jesus, I don't like that. But they're going to win the fucking game, aren't they?
They are.
I can't justify giving Pittsburgh 11.5 because 2 touchdowns isn't out of the realm of possibility if Roethlisberger throws a couple of picks.
Yeah.
Which he's more than capable of.
I don't trust him this year. I just don't trust him.
No, he has. At home, he's been phenomenal. And on the road, not so much.
On perverse motivation, which Belichick is the master of, Goodell, once again, is not coming to New England. Can't you see him just saying, let's make this fucking cocksucker hand us the trophy?
Well, and they've also got the added fact of Antonio Brown live Facebooking the fucking...
that's irrelevant. I think it's all about Goodell here for this New England team.
He will use it. He will use it.
Yeah, but I think the better use is Goodell not even having the fucking balls to go to New England. He was in Atlanta last week.
No, I know.
He's going back. If I were Belichick and the coach, and we know he uses this, I would say, this fucker, he punished us for no reason. This is bullshit, and he doesn't even have the balls to come to our house and face our fans.
He could.
Let's make sure he has to hand us the trophy.
He couldn't walk around the fucking stadium. He couldn't get out of the airport.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying that would be the motivation if I was going Belichickian, which I do think will be an official verb soon. Or adverb.
All right, so we have Packers plus 11, Patriots plus half a point. Oilers pays $18.33.
All right.
Booked. Now, I told you before the start of the podcast I have a wrinkle.
I'd forgotten.
And my wrinkle is going back to my theory on every championship team has a story. I think Green Bay wins it all. And of the 4 teams left, Green Bay is plus 400 to win the Super Bowl. I would like to bet $5 on Green Bay to win the Super Bowl.
I will not oppose you on that.
And edges our Atlanta, New England parlay for teams to win the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're in?
I am totally in.
Okay, we got the Packers plus 400 to win the Super Bowl. $5 pays 25. That is booked. Okay, so I want to bring up, go through our recap, and then I got one other thing I got to bring up about a listener.
Okay. We have bet this week Green Bay plus 5 at Atlanta. 10 pays 19.09. We have New England minus 5.5 at home. $10 pays 18.69. We have a teaser, New England plus half a point, which is irrelevant, and Green Bay plus 11 pays 18.33. We have also stepped out and bet Green Bay to win the Super Bowl. $5 pays 25.
All right. If you want to listen to our podcast, you can find it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device. At our website, offensivelines.ca.
Where is that?
Follow us on offensivelines.ca. I get Twitter and website all mixed up. Fuck off. Offensivelines.ca. You can follow us on Twitter at offensivelines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at olinesmarlon or at olinesboyd. Facebook.com/offensivelines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. Now, had a listener tweet me asking, it was Trix Rabbit, 1616 or something like that. I was going to bring my phone down. I forgot it upstairs, so I've got the tweet saved. But he asked which website we bet on. We bet on bet365.com. They're based out of England. That's not the humorous part to me. So he tweets, I send him that tweet back, and he sends back, "Oh, do you guys offer insurance if I use your picks?" And I tweeted back, "Oh, I wish we had insurance on our picks." So then after we cashed all three on Sunday night, I tweeted him. I said, "Oh, did you hit it big with our picks?" And he goes, "No, I couldn't pull the trigger." So, Trix Rabbit, thanks for listening. It was I got a good laugh when you couldn't pull the trigger. I'm assuming you're Canadian if you're looking to gamble online, because it's hard as fuck in the States. I know you can do it, but hit us up. Let us know where you're at, whatever you're up to. If you bet regularly, you don't. I have no idea outside of like 4 tweets back and forth, but
yeah, I don't know what bank our board here, but I don't mind our teaser.
No.
If you got to throw some money at it, I don't mind this tease.
But there's been radio silence from Doug since Oakland got knocked out, so I don't know what happened to Raider Doug. If you're out there, send me a tweet. Let me know you made it through that playoff game. Yeah, that's the show. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon, and those were our picks for championship weekend.
Every season has a story.
Dean Spanos. Cocksucker.
Nice logo.
Generous fucking gambler.